Welcome back to Tailgate Sports Media Podcast. I'm Peyton. That's Devin. That's also Ray. This
Yep.
is the premier podcast for sports, mostly football. Also, the tailgate, which is the most important part about sports. Sorry. All right. We have a lot to cover, so we're going to get into it. But before we get into it, Devin, Ray, how was your week?
It's finals week, so not great.
Finals week.
Uh,
That's why
sorry.
I got to wear these because I've been staring at computers all week.
Uh, I'm
Nah, man, you an old ass black uncle now.
Oh yeah, it's finals week. I forgot.
Show me what sandals you're wearing right now.
I'll have sandals on. I do
Show
have
me
though.
show me the brown leather sandals right now.
To your point, I got these bad boys.
It would be so much better if he had a bonnet on.
I think I own one.
You should just buy a bonnet
I'm
just
I've been I'm a do rag man myself.
just for the vibes. A bonnet would be just better. What you graduate from a do rag at a certain age, I think.
Uh,
Anyways,
uh,
um,
anyway,
um, okay. So we're gonna start off with the NFL. We're gonna get the NFL out of the way because as crazy as the NFL has been, college football has just been a lot crazier. It's a lot juicier. I care about it more, so I want to spend more time on that. Okay. That being said, we're going to go over last week's games. First game we picked was Detroit versus Dallas. I picked Detroit. Devin picked Dallas. I was 100% correct about what would happen.
you are.
Um, Devin had faith.
Fell for it. And they won three straight, and I was like, I know that what the Cowboys are going to do every time. They're going to get in a position where it's like, oh, I actually can have hope again that this season's going the right way, and then they're going to fumble. Yeah.
Oh,
And at this point, we're going to make the playoffs as a wild card and fuck up our draft pick. That's all
yep,
we're going to do at this point.
100%. Funny though. Yeah, I saw that coming. Not to harp on it too much. That was an important game though, and it meant a lot for the Lions. I have a lot of Lions buddies, people that are fans of the Lions. Um, Evan, you used to know some Lions players. I don't know if they're still with the team, but
Still with the team. Don't talk anymore.
oh, they abandoned you. All right, moving forward.
I never got invited to the new league, so yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, damn, that is crazy. Okay, well, that being said, so you know what? Fuck the Lions. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Uh, that being said, the next game we picked was the Green Bay Chicago game. I was dead wrong on this game. You picked Green Bay, Devin. I picked Chicago.
I think Chicago.
Oh, we were both wrong. That makes
Yeah.
me happy. Um, yeah, just hey, Green Bay is better than I thought they were. They're turning it up when they need to. Jordan Love had a little lull in the middle of the season. He's turning it back up. They're looking
Hmm.
like a very good playoff team, peaking at the right time. That's all I have to say on that. Chicago's still a contender. They're still in the mix, but they do need to win out to yeah, sorry. My wife was walking around.
Chicago? I don't think Chicago needs to win out. They're in the wild. They have to win out if they want the
Yeah,
division. Yeah.
if they want a home game, yeah, is what I was trying to say. Sorry. That being said, um, the next game we picked was Eagles Chargers.
Yep.
I picked the Chargers.
And I think the Chargers.
We both picked the Chargers.
Yeah, because the Eagles suck now.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, just a historic collapse, really, from the Eagles. And people are saying it's Jalen Hurts' fault. I'm not inclined to disagree with them, although I do like Jalen Hurts, so it does hurt.
Saquon's not exactly carrying his weight either.
Yeah, I think when you pay a running back as much as they do, he needs to be better. I also think that defensively, um, they have an all-time kind of their defense isn't even bad, but was the best defense in the NFL last year. I feel like at least at the end. Maybe not cat statistically, but yeah, their defense, they had to move Cooper DeJean back outside because their outside corners weren't doing too hot. Cooper DeJean's been pretty decent at the outside, but he is no Patrick Surtain or Sauce Gardner or I'm trying to think of another corner that's on the outside that locks down. Oh, Derek Stingley. He's not as good as them yet. May never be, but Cooper DeJean is a really good slot corner, nickel. Um, but he still needs a little bit of work on the outside. Still really good, but what they had last year with him in the slot, losing him in that slot position really hurts. Also, the Chargers are a really good team.
I would like to remind everybody that Cooper DeJean is a white man. So
Yeah.
what can you really expect at this level?
Ah,
Riley Moss does pretty well.
you can expect to know the playbook is what you can expect.
Yeah. And Riley Moss does really well. Riley Moss, another white corner, plays for the Broncos.
Mhm.
Although he might be hurt. Anyway, that doesn't matter. So I went 2-1 and Devin went 2-1. So that is an update to the records.
1 and 2. You're bad at math, first of all. Second of all, 15-25 for Peyton. Peyton making some ground on my even 23.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. You picked the Cowboys. I forgot you picked the Cowboys. All right. So I'm 15 and 25.
Yep, and I'm 23 and 23.
Okay, nice. We'll get there one day. All right.
One day.
Moving forward, the picks for the NFL this week. The first game that we're gonna pick. There's currently a game happening. We are recording on Thursday. The Bucks, who I want to watch, but it doesn't matter. The first game that we're gonna pick is the Buffalo Bills versus the New England Patriots.
Ooh,
Hmm.
The Patriots have a Belichick identity under Vrabel. They've like reassumed. It is funny, right? Because the Patriots left. They fell off after Brady left, and everyone was like, "Yay, the Patriots are done." And then it became the Chiefs and the Bills, and a little bit of Baltimore, but you had a little bit of parity between those three teams, like, and sometimes the Bengals even. So you had like, I guess, really four teams that were always in the mix in the AFC, and really it ended up being two teams the last couple years between Kansas City and the Bills. And what happened was a lot of people started complaining and saying that they're tired of the Kansas City Chiefs and the Bills dominating, and someone needed to, you know, overthrow them. They were tired of them being on top. And it was really
and
the
the monkey
Thanos
saw
meme.
curls.
The Thanos meme happened. It said, "Where did that bring you? Back to me." And it's just the Patriots standing there. So, that being said, I'm picking the Patriots.
I think I'm also taking the Patriots.
Hmm. Like, I don't know. Do you guys think Josh Allen is at that point yet where he's, Baker Mayfield status? He can't bet against him.
No. Josh Allen's really good. And Baker Mayfield is like, Josh Allen's really good and he has a better defense. But the problem with Josh Allen is that Baker Mayfield has, that Josh Allen doesn't, is like Baker Mayfield has better skill position receivers, better skill position players. Josh Allen is really the best player on the offense as far as like everything goes. Baker has some really good talent and really good young talent and really good veterans in that mix. And Josh Allen has a lot of what I would consider like your role player type receivers. Like they're not superstars, but you know, they can get the job done, but
They're
day
almost
in,
like
day out.
scenario to scenario receivers.
Yeah. And so because of that, I feel like it limits Josh Allen's playmaking capabilities because sometimes you just need a receiver that makes an incredible play. And I don't know if the Bills have that on their roster.
Um,
And that's no fault to Josh Allen. But
Yeah, no, he's doing the best he can with the tools he's got.
yeah,
Yeah, I think I agree. And they're also going to be in New England. I'll go Patriots with you guys.
yeah. Also, in the NFL, home field advantage isn't as important as it is in college.
Agreed.
But there are a few stadiums where home field advantage really does help, and New England is one of them.
Yeah, New England with a good team
Yeah,
is a bad place to play.
yeah. So I will go New England. We all went New England. The next game is kind of a toilet bowl of sorts, but I thought it'd be fun to pick because it is a
Mhm.
close line. We are going to be picking the well, actually, the next two games are going to be toilet bowls of sorts because I didn't want to pick multiple teams in a row, and I thought this would be a little more fun. We're picking Washington versus the Giants.
Yikes!
Giants are favored by 2.5. Um,
Yikes! Oh
Washington is
snap!
a
Marcus Mariota, let's go.
yeah, Washington is in shambles right now. To
Uh,
injure, I mean, you draft an injury-prone quarterback, you
and it
know,
turns out they're injury prone.
and it turns out they're injury-prone sometimes. Um, if I was Washington, I'd be doing everything within my, capability of making sure Jaden Daniels packs on 15 pounds of of weight just so that he can be a little more sturdy of an individual. He's a very tall, lanky guy, and um, he's not even the same build as like a Lamar Jackson, who's tall and lanky, but very like looks strong. You know what I mean? This guy is he looks tall and
Just
lanky,
lanky.
and he is obviously. I mean, he's a net pro athlete, but I think sometimes you see where tall and lanky gets you, and they're big boys for a reason. So that being said, I'm going to pick the Giants. I believe Jackson Dart is back.
Is
I don't even think Jameis Winston's on the roster anymore. I could be wrong, but
what? I would
yeah,
be a travesty.
but I mean, that's
No way you cut Jameis Winston and not Russell Wilson.
I hope that Jameis Winston,
Nah, I gotta
like,
investigate this.
I hope the UFL throws $1 billion at Jameis Winston to come be the
That would be fun football. That would be hilariously fun football.
to be the quarterback of like
Hey,
the
dude, come play for
Orlando.
the Bronx.
Yeah, why'd you do that?
Yeah, he could be the quarterback for the Orlando team. That'd be fucking gas. Anyway, that being said, um,
I'm
yeah.
also on the Giants, I think.
So we all took the Giants.
Yeah, I can't pick Washington.
All right, and I said these were going to be two toilet bowls. This one's not as bad. It is still bad, but these two teams are both in the NFC South. Um, it's kind of an NFC South matchup. One of the few conferences in the NFL. There's about four conferences in the NFL where the rivalries matter, and I feel like the NFC South is one of them. Whatever division the Colts play in, those rivalries, as much as they want to pretend, no one gives a fuck about them.
Isn't that the AFC South?
The AFC South,
Uh,
yeah, that is what the
calling
Colts.
a city, calling a team from Indiana a South team is fucking wild. The same way Dallas is an East
Okay,
team.
that was the next one I was gonna
It
bring up.
is wild until you realize the makeup of the people of Indiana, and then you go locationally, no,
Demographically,
Culturally,
culturally, might be some very major similarities between them and the Deep South. Um,
you saying Indianapolis needs a overseas game in Paris, perhaps?
um, what?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I got
That
it.
being said,
I'm there.
All right.
I was not there.
In
It's going to be
Paris.
Carolina Saints.
Wow.
Yeah, Carolina Saints.
Why?
Um, I
When you
almost
say
went
it
to
like that, it sounds like the team is the Carolina
It
Saints.
might as well be. They might as well do a spring ball draft and create another team out of these two?
Um, I'm gonna go Carolina. I just think that the Saints are not doing too bad. They're not bad. They just, I mean, their record's bad, but they're not a bad team. I think they're like just very young for an NFL team, very inexperienced at important positions.
I can see that.
And obviously, they still have
Oh,
Alvin. Huh?
go ahead.
I said obviously they still have Alvin Kamara, who is not, who's maybe. Here's the thing: Alvin Kamara is like a fourth of what he used to be, in his prime, and he's still great. But you just get certain. He's just. I think their roster is either past their prime or not developed yet, and they're
Alvin Kamara didn't practice today with a knee injury, knee ankle.
okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna pick the Carolina Panthers for sure.
Feel a lot
Oh
better
wait,
about picking Carolina.
Yep.
yeah, me too. Apparently, but well, it could be a red herring because apparently he hasn't practiced since week 12. Oh, and he
That just says to
missed.
me that he's banged up as fuck and he's just making it to the games.
He didn't play in one of the games recently.
Oh, he's in danger of missing a third game in a row. Okay, so yeah, let's go. Let's go Panthers.
Yeah, but they did
Let's go
win
Panthers.
last week without him, to be fair.
Mm, The NFC South is one of those divisions. Doesn't matter. None of the teams ever look super great. The Bucks start off looking great, and then they get so banged up with fucking injuries, they get dragged down to everybody else's level. Anybody can win at any time,
Yep.
and it's ridiculously stupid. And the worst team will play the best team. It'll just be the most competitive game you've ever fucking seen. It truly is one of the few divisions where it's like, oh, we're playing another South team. Fuck those guys.
Yeah, it is. I do like that about it. All right. Those are our picks.
Mm.
I think we went even
We all
across.
agree.
We went
All
even across.
Yep. So moving forward, we're going to get into conference championship week. We're going to recap last week. So first of all, we are going to talk about this. Um, the what was it? Um, I'm sorry. The first game is the American. We picked the American. It was Tulane, North Texas. I believe I picked Tulane and you picked Tulane as well. Yeah. Tulane just fucking mollywopped them. I think North Texas quarterback got hurt though.
Yeah, I think he got hurt somewhat earlier. I unfortunately was at work, so I only caught snippets.
Yeah.
I missed this supposedly controversial uh, punt interference, catch
Yeah.
interference. But from my understanding, from what I honestly bad on me for not doing the research to go watch the play. Apparently, the defender that ran into the catcher, or yeah, the returner, got blocked into him.
Yes. At least
So
it appeared that way. Here's the thing also is it is funny because these fans will throw fits. I don't know if you remember this game. I think USC was playing Tulane, maybe. Um, but I could be, I could get, I'm probably getting the team wrong, and I'm almost positive I am. USC punted it to this team, whatever, and then the ball was dead, like short of the punt returner, and USC players decided that because clearly USC's educational
I know
background
what
is
you're talking about.
piss poor. They like tried to pick the player up and throw him into the ball, which, first of all, multiple flags. That's holding. Um, there's a rule that says you can't do that. You can't push a player into the ball. Um,
That's holding, unnecessary roughness, kidnapping, felony assault.
yeah, it was a lot of things, and so
Child trafficking.
it is
It's
funny.
a 10-minute conference to work out the flags and then start reading off charges.
Yeah,
Yep.
it
Transporting a minor across state lines.
yeah. Whoa, 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 Matt Gates. Whoa.
Hey,
Um,
Damn.
um, allegedly,
allegedly.
Allegedly. Alleg-
allegedly. That being said, no, I just it is always funny to me as a guy that um like one of the few things that I did ever in football was understand special teams rules because I played for an individual who had like 37 fake punts, 37 trick plays, and I played every special teams known to man. And also, I'm a slow white guy, so I had to know the rules. Otherwise, I'd be getting fucked. Anyway, that being said, um, the amount of people in the world that watch football that have no understanding of how special teams works, just the plays
Phenomenal.
in the plays in special teams. It's like, first of all, every rule in football that applies on regular plays applies to special teams, and people just forget that. Like they're like, wait, you can't block people in the back? Wait, you can't hold people? What do you mean?
You know who I blame, and you're going to enjoy who I blame on this one. I blame the refs.
Yeah.
Because if you watch the amount of fuck ups in high school special teams that don't get called properly, you're like, okay, this is why these guys don't know coming up this level because this shit never got called. There was a video that I saw today, and it's a high school championship game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the red team. They're going for the game winning kick. If they make it, they win. If they miss, other team wins. They go up for the kick. It's super short. It's short. It doesn't even make it to the end zone. Player on the defending team catches it, celebrates, and throws the ball.
Yeah, I saw that.
And the refs are like, well, that's a fumble, I guess.
And a forward lateral.
And a forward lateral, yeah. So forward lateral, fumble, don't even know how you which what happens. Do you call so if the other team happened to recover, which they didn't, luckily that kid's teammates were like, oh, there's the ball. The play was never blown dead. I'm gonna get the ball. Even well, how did that even work? Go. Okay, Peyton, you walk this down. So defending team recovers it, but there's an
Okay.
illegal forward lateral, and their teammates rush the field during the play.
That would be another kick
What
with
gets
a 15
called
yard
and who gets
penalty.
possession?
Yeah, so it would be an untimed down. And the if the other team recovered it, it would be an untimed down. They'd get basically another chance at a field goal. With
Yeah, and they would get like 30 yards for two different penalties, right?
well, it'd be you can only accept one penalty, and I think it's a 5 yard penalty. So
That
yeah,
sucks. He was way shorter than 5 yards. All right, well, that's crazy.
actually, I think it might be spot of the foul with a illegal forward pitch.
Yeah, it also depends on the high schools. So many different high schools have so many different rules.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure illegal forward pitch is a thing that never happens, so it's so hard to remember. But I'm pretty sure it's a spot of the foul penalty. A funny story about special teams with refs, especially refs interpretations. When we played, it was my junior year of high school, we played Judson. And we showed up to this game, and the refs were from Houston. And they came out and they told us, like, yeah, every time y'all guys line up and punt, like, you do it illegally. And they told both teams this, which it turns out they were liars. They're dumbasses, but not their fault. They suck. So basically, I would line up on the line and they told me I couldn't be on the line. I had to be off the line, which wasn't true. That's like too many people in the backfield. But regardless, that's what they said. So when I would line up, I came around and I lined up on the line and we punted the ball to Judson. We forced a fumble, recovered it. Penalties thrown. It's my fault. My coach is yelling at me, calling me a piece of shit human being. Says, this is why your father left. He didn't leave, but I'm just, he was just saying like some crazy shit. He's like,
Might have been left the game.
never play another down for me
Oh
if
yeah,
you.
it was the game that yeah, Dad did leave during the middle of the game. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
crazy.
He meant left early, not left your life.
Wait, did he really?
Probably not.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know.
How would I know? I wasn't there.
I don't know if you were or not. And then the next play we line up, I do it right. We do run the same thing. It's a motion. I'm lined up here. double stacked with me and this other guy. I motion a zip, do a zip motion across. I come across, and this time
This
I don't line up on the line. I am off the line.
this is
We
on a
snap.
punt.
It's on a punt. Yeah,
All right.
trust me. I can. I'll one day I'll go over all the fake punts we have. I'll do a little film study for you guys, let you know what's going on. Anyway, we do this fake punt, or not this fake punt. It's a real punt. We punt the ball. I go. I actually get to the ball carrier this time and force the fumble, and we recover it.
What'd you get called for?
Nothing. Or
Oh,
this play, I didn't get called for anything. But the
okay.
first play, we forced a fumble and recovered it, and our coach yelled at me because I ruined the play, and then I made up for it on the very next play. Like, hey,
Real lunch pail kind of guy.
I thought this was a story about refs and it ended up being a story
Yeah,
about Peyton being cool.
yeah.
well,
I real.
no. The problem is, I'm sorry, I didn't explain this enough. The problem with the refs was they told me I had to line up in the backfield, right? Our punt formation was we all lined up on line. We had no gunners on the outside, just one dead line here. So what would happen was I was an outside, like kind of like what you would line up on as a tight end. So we had all these dudes on the line, and then our stack was two dudes here, one dude here, who kind of like was sideways, ball snapped. He came in and filled in the wall. So we had one, two, three, and then the punter. So that's one, two, three, four people in the backfield, right?
Yeah. And then you have two guys on the line at the end, so that's a legal formation.
That's legal. They told us we had to be off the line. You see
Hmm.
where I'm coming from now?
So you're saying the problem is the refs?
The problem was the refs. Because
Yeah,
in
no,
their head,
those
they
are
told
stupid.
us that, I don't know, something about the punter not counting to some extent.
Yeah, the punter doesn't count. You have the one guy, so the
No, the
guy
punter
on the line
counts.
on each end.
The punter counts as a person in the backfield. Yes, he does.
Yeah, but you have to have the way I'm seeing it is you have five eligible receivers, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the last guy on the line on either end of the line who are on the line are eligible receivers,
Yes.
and then everyone in the backfield besides the quarterback can be an eligible receiver too. But if you're off the line, you're an eligible receiver.
Yes.
So if you have three guys in protection in the backfield, and then you have the gunners, the ends, you have five.
Yes.
I'm not very smart when it comes to football rules, but I know that.
Yeah, they were retarded. That's the problem. That's what my point being is like they like literally, and no one else ever told us anything, and because clearly they were in this crew of refs was in the wrong, but these dudes were so adamant and like saying like we don't give a fuck, we're throwing the flag, and then obviously they threw the flag on us. And they were dead wrong, and obviously they were dead wrong because every game we played after that, and every game, granted, this is the second round of the playoffs. Never had a problem with this. The 12 games or the 11 games we played before that, and then the 3 games we played after that, we didn't have problems with it. So you see what I'm saying?
Shout out to the
Um,
third team.
it was pretty funny. But yeah. Um, anyway, yeah. Back to the American Conference game. It was a mollywhopping. Wasn't that intriguing? What really hurt was that North Texas is a throw the ball kind of team, and it was pissing rain the whole time.
Yeah, threw what? Let me get back to my notes here. They threw three interceptions and a
Yes,
fumble.
yes, it was pissing rain. Should have seen this coming. But yeah, fun stuff. Not for North Texas, but for Tulane. All right, moving on. The next game we're going to talk about is the SEC championship. Um, -3 rushing yards.
The three of us individually had more rushing yards than Alabama did
I have more
on
total
that
rushing
day.
yards in my career than Alabama did that day, and I've never played offense.
I have more total career rushing yards against Georgia than Alabama had that game.
Damn.
Yeah,
Damn.
I've rushed for more yards as a person who's never played college football against Georgia than Alabama has.
These are all good points.
Um, than
With that,
Alabama.
I'm putting Tailgate Sports Media in at the ninth spot to play Oklahoma in Norman.
Well, there's 3 of us. I don't know how that'll work, but
I got a team. I'll call them up. You got to call up a couple buddies.
Actually,
Dust off that playbook.
I
Running
was
back
thinking
by
about
committee.
it, and I have enough people in my battery and people that I know that I feel like we could compete with a JV football team.
Listen, here's the thing.
You can't just go putting stuff like that out in the world because eventually we're gonna have to test it.
We are.
Ray, you can block.
Yeah,
Cinco is an athlete.
Cinco's an athlete.
I think it was an athlete.
Cinco's going to be my athletic pulling guard.
Cinco's the center because you can pull the center too. I know three or four big dudes that are pretty good at. I know a guy. He's 6'5". He does what he calls his rhino run, and it is scary if he's running at you. He's 6'5", like 280.
I got to think where I want Cinco now. Okay, hold on. I got to take off the hat. Sorry, I got to think about this one.
All right, yeah.
Oh boy. Oh man.
Get your
If
notebook out.
Cinco is definitely going to be the smartest lineman there.
And also, I have
Easy.
Mark. We have Marky.
He's lost a lot
But
of weight.
caveat: Cinco is extremely smart. He is not extremely smart about football.
He
Yes,
doesn't.
but if I got to, but if I was like, hey, we got 2 weeks till we play Oklahoma, and we got to teach somebody how to pick up like assignments on the line, I trust Cinco the most.
Yeah,
Yeah, like he's so smart and he's pretty athletic. Like for just a regular dude that's never really played sports, like he's a pretty good athletic person. And also for a Jew, like really that's the impressive part.
That guy being athletic, not crazy. Jewish athlete. Okay,
I
now,
don't know. No, I
man,
can't. You know what? I can't in good conscience co-sign this because have you seen the Jewish basketball league? They're hooping over there.
they're hooping.
I have
Who
a
are they
feeling I
hooping
could
against, though? First of all, who are they hooping against?
Other Jews.
the
Ah, void,
Palestinians.
No,
voided.
no, no, no. You got it before you jet
This
past
part's getting
judgment.
cut from the podcast.
I hope so.
It's getting cut from the podcast, right?
We're having a 5 minute conversation about how someone nobody knows is going to be good at football.
He's
You
one
know
of
what? We need
two.
to get back to this SEC championship game. Let's
Yeah.
just we're
Okay.
gonna hard
Yeah.
cut right
Hard
here.
cut.
Okay. Um, yeah, I don't think there's much to talk about here. Alabama is reeling.
Alabama hasn't played a good game since Tennessee. That was the middle of October.
Yeah,
That was the
and
and we'll
hopefully,
talk about this when we get to the playoff more, but they aren't the same team they were for that little 5 6 week span in the early part of the season after they lost to FSU. FSU
I'm,
wasn't the same team either. FSU dropped a ton
yeah,
for some reason at some point. They played a lot better at the beginning of the season than they did towards the end of the season. Alabama is not playing the same football they did in the first half of the season. It's just 100% obvious.
yeah, I completely agree. Next thing we're going to talk about Big 12. It's kind of the same rundown as the American. It was a absolute shellacking. Starting quarterback got hurt for BYU. BYU just doesn't have the dogs. Texas Tech
Here's the thing.
has the athletes and they have freaks.
I
Texas
don't think
Tech's defense is freaky.
I don't
They're
think
good.
anybody's got the dogs against Texas Tech this year though.
Yeah, that middle linebacker for Texas Tech should have been in the Heisman race. He should have won it. The dude's a freak.
What do you mean? He isn't he in the Heisman race?
I don't think so. I don't think he made it to the Final Four.
I think you're right, actually. Now that I think about it. Hold
Yeah,
on.
he missed. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, Jacob Rodriguez leads list of players who missed out, which is it's insane. It's a quarterback award. I mean, um, it's wild, but let's
Yeah,
go
in
back to
order.
the beginning of the podcast real quick because me mentioning Heisman is reminding me of something. You're talking about did we have a good week? It's finals week, but I did win two online championships this week with my tight end winning the Heisman.
Oh, you know what? Speaking same, you know what? Same here. I just took Hawaii to the MAC championship as well.
Well,
To the
Didn't win.
back?
No, Mountain West. Sorry, I keep getting them mixed up. Mountain West.
That's what I have to say,
I
Raymond.
just finished my 26 creative team builder team. Um, the Texas Red River Rangers. Really cool logo, cowboy hat with a little. It looks like a T, but it's the top is a cowboy hat.
Oh, okay, I see what you
Really
mean.
cool logo.
Nice, nice, nice. Could I offer a solution that's going to upset you if
Yes.
you actually like it, and you won't care at all if you don't like it? The top of the T is going to be a cowboy hat, is the Red River between Oklahoma and Texas.
Yeah, here's the thing. I'm decent at graphic design since it's become my hobby. Um, by
Also,
decent, I mean it takes me 7 hours to do something another person could do in 30 minutes. So great idea. Love it. That being said, I'll pass.
that's like an alt logo. That's like something maybe three people at the at on campus understand. That can't be your main logo.
What the tech the T hat?
No, the Red River T hat.
Yes, yeah, and that's the thing is also like someone could live on the Red River and be like, "What's that?"
Why do you have a line across your hat?
Yeah. That being said,
That's why
great.
you don't. That's why you don't see Triangle of Toughness hats anywhere.
Bad at this fucking podcast bullshit. We can't stay on conversation for more than 13
Yeah,
seconds.
Are
that's
we
true.
supposed to be?
Yeah. I don't think I think it's great because we don't. That being said, next topic. Or no, we're gonna stick to this. Um, the Big 12, yeah, Texas Tech, that linebacker, that defense is nasty. Granted, you said you don't think anyone can mess with that defense. I don't think the Big 12 is hot shit this year. Some decent offenses, but other than that, um, I don't think I'll know more about Texas Tech when they play whoever the hell they're gonna play, which I think it's looking up to be Texas A&M. Hold on, let me pull up this bracket really quick.
Uh,
This Tech ended up with the fourth seed, so they're either going to
they
play
got. This says
Oregon.
they have Bama.
What? Not possible. No, they'll take or they're going to play Oregon because they got the fourth seed.
Okay, yeah, so they're gonna play Oregon. Okay,
No,
then I lied.
this has them
I
as the
would
eight.
love a Texas A&M Tech game. I'm getting blasted.
Um,
Oh wait, Tech is the fourth. Sorry, never mind. I got Texas Tech playing OU in my head, and then OU was playing Alabama, so I got all mixed up. That's my fault.
No,
all
you're good.
sorts of fucked up.
That being said, we're gonna move on to the game I really want to talk about, which is the Big Ten championship. Um, we both picked. So we got everything right. We both picked Georgia.
Both picked Tech, both picked Tulane, both picked Indiana.
Yeah.
Damn.
Let's
We
be real though. Did I think Indiana would win? No. Did I want them to win? Oh yeah. Indiana, first of all, I've seen some things go around. People talking about like best coach in college football today, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's between Kurt Signetti and Ryan Day," and oh, they're throwing out all these names, right? I want to be very clear about something. If you're talking about just coaching and you're taking the recruiting aspect out of the coaching part in college football, just coaching, Kurt Signetti is fucking lapping everybody.
Oh, by a mile.
This dude, first of all, the gall, the absolute cojones on this individual is insane. The way that he talks shit, it is incredible. Like I will watch him do interviews, I'll watch him do things, and I'm like, this dude is from the Saban coaching tree, and he does this. No wonder Saban was like, you need to leave and go be a Division II head football coach because I can't fucking stand your ass right now. But this dude, Coach Signetti, this team overall, they lost their best D lineman, I think, um, to an injury post game from celebrating. Um, but
Wasn't
so
it them jumping around in the locker room?
yeah, so that sucks for them. But overall, just the way that this guy's taken, I don't think they have a 4 star on their roster. At least
I
not an
wouldn't say they.
organic force, not a 4 star out of high school. They probably have a 4 star
Yeah,
transfer.
no, I think they picked up a couple guys in the transfer. They lost a lot of guys in the transfer portal. And here's the most important thing about it is without any of his own recruiting, he took this team to the playoff.
Yes.
With basically replacing some of the losses he got from that transfer portal, he's got them at the number one seed.
Yeah, that's the crazy part.
Now,
The
and then I think it's this. I think it's a similar situation for BYU, Indiana, obviously to another level, but 2 years of sustained success is when you go, oh, this guy's legit.
yeah.
Okay, maybe I
Also,
actually do want to go play for these guys.
yeah. Also, that's the other thing with Indiana is historically the worst FBS team of all time.
Yep.
The most losses in college football, Division One college football history of Division One college football. They lose the most. And then you have this guy come in, and it's an immediate turnaround. And what did he say? Google me, I win.
Yeah. First of
Just
all, baller line.
baller line, baller guy. Look, if Brent Venables, as an OU fan, if you're a fan of any team and you lost your head coach tomorrow, that's the guy you want them to call first.
Yep.
If you're me, if you're next, if you want, like, I don't know how good of a recruiter he is yet, but if you keep stacking up seasons like this, the recruits are going to come.
Yeah.
I was gonna
And
say,
I
how
think
good of a recruiter do you have to be if you're winning like this?
Yeah, and
yeah,
you
one of the
can
biggest things
develop.
about being a recruiter is being a great coach in general. Like, hey, look, this is what I do when I coach.
Yeah,
You want to come play here, or do you want to go ride the bench somewhere else, or do you want to go even play somewhere else, but then your career doesn't go anywhere?
yep.
Just this right here is enough to be like, okay, yeah, no, this guy's legit.
There's a
Crazy
quarterback that
enough that
might
he's got
enter the
two.
transfer portal. Imagine this: Indiana quarterback Bryce Underwood.
A lot more possible today, isn't
Yeah.
it? I was gonna say, and I lost my thought because you interrupted me, which was rude. Much crazy.
Mhm.
Um, fuck, man, it's completely gone. I'm so old. It's gone. Oh, he's got two teams in the playoff, which is the crazy thing.
Yeah. His
He's
recruits
the
at
current,
DMU.
yeah, and a bunch of the players that he brought in this year were JMU players.
Yep. Hey, sometimes X's and O's matter. Sometimes they matter. That being said, those were the four picks. I think we went 4-0.
Four
Just a
no, baby.
slight flex. Just
Being a lot
um
easier to pick conference championship games. I'll just put that out there.
yeah, it is. The next thing I want to we'll go ahead and do our picks for this week, and then we'll get into everything else. Um, Obviously, there's not a bunch of crazy important games happening besides maybe the most important game in football history, which is Army Navy.
Yep. Putting in
Um,
Dayton's pick right now because I already know it.
yeah, out of principle, I have to pick Army.
Yep.
Out of
You
yeah,
want to go ahead and put on your podcaster hat real quick and really call the game?
of what?
So you want
Why
to
the
put on
fuck
your
would you do that?
I'll just ask.
That's stupid. What the fuck, Raymond?
Of
Kick
what?
Raymond from the kick podcaster hat, the hat where you forget your alliances and your allegiances and you just pick like a true neutral podcaster.
I'm
Yeah,
just
no,
saying.
don't.
That's why you're never. That's why you never served, brother.
Well played. Well played.
Thank him for his service right now.
I'll
Hey
take a
Peyton.
salute. I'll take a salute.
I,
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't
yeah,
do it.
no. Thank you
Please
for your service.
don't do that either.
Hey Peyton, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for
Thank you
being
for
a real
saving a
American
wretch like
hero.
me.
I deserve that. I do deserve that. All right. All right. Anyway, Army Navy. Devin Raymond, go for it.
Navy, the better
Yeah,
team by a
got
mile.
gotta be Navy. Although Navy really screwed me last year, so yeah.
Hold
Crazy.
on. Hold on one second.
I'm pretty sure Navy lost last year though.
They did. No, it was Army. Army was really on top of the world against last year, and they lost to Navy.
Damn.
Army won the conference championship and then lost to Navy the
Oh,
next
you're
week.
right.
Hold on
Yep.
one second.
No. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I think yeah, because Navy was choking it away in the third quarter. I see it now. Yeah,
You don't hear
I'm
that?
nope. Did we do some deep investigating on what cool uniforms the Army and Navy will be wearing this week?
Can't hear nothing, Peyton.
Can't hear a thing. Can
If
he
you're
not hear
wondering if it's
that
a
sound?
silent fart, it is. The fact, Raymond, I've just looked at the video. The fact that they're wearing the yarmulkes during the basketball match is fucking insane.
It's the what else do you expect from a Jewish basketball league?
Oh man.
Yeah. Okay. So okay, I tried to play the Army theme song and it didn't go through.
Oh, okay.
Um.
Awkward.
Yeah. I was like, you guys hear that? And you guys are just like talking about Jewish basketball. Okay.
We said no like three times.
Is that the kosher league?
I don't know if it's
I'll see my way
specific.
out. I'll see my way out. That being said, the next game is the second most important game of the year, the Celebration Bowl. I'm not laughing. Um,
You kind of laughed pretty hard immediately.
Raymond, first of all, let's ask Raymond. Raymond, what is the Celebration Bowl? Don't look it up.
Oh,
Look at me. Look at the camera.
I
What's the
know what
Celebration Bowl?
the Celebration Bowl is the HBCU Bowl.
Okay.
Devin, that's ingrained in his DNA.
No, didn't we talk about it last week?
I'm like one of seven people that know what the Celebration Bowl is that is white.
You know what this means? Ta Tailgate Sports has got to go to the Celebration Bowl.
I wish it's too far
Fuck,
away.
man.
That being said, we
Hey,
do one day,
Hey,
maybe,
yeah, put it on
definitely,
the
actually
spreadsheet.
one day.
Put it on the
So
spreadsheet.
South Carolina State versus Prairie View A&M. I'm going to pick
Eh,
South Carolina State because Prairie View A&M got beat by UTRGV, and UTRGV didn't even make the FCS playoffs. And historically, the MEAC is better than the SWAC. So historically, MEAC teams are always beat the SWAC teams. PV is SWAC. So I'm going to pick the MEAC team, South Carolina State.
I don't even see
Yep,
the Celebration Bowl on here. Damn, ESPN really snubbing the Celebration Bowl.
yeah, it's crazy.
wild.
Devin, your pick?
Uh, I wanted to take the Texas team, but logic over didn't override on my state pride, and I was like, no, South Carolina State.
Yeah,
That's a name that I actually do know.
um,
I don't know. I don't know a lot of teams below Division One or even below FBS. And that's a team that I do know because they're good. And I was like, no, that's the right pick.
that's fair.
Um, yeah, and also our margin's too close. I can't let you catch up late in the season.
That's fair. That's also fair. Devin, or Raymond,
Uh,
as our regional HBCU expert, HBCU football expert,
don't do that. Don't
um,
don't do
Hey
that.
Raymond, next year no bitches and HBCU check in every week.
I will trade the no bitches team of the week for the HBCU check-in because
I want some research
I feel like
positions
that can
next
be
year. All right.
more beneficial.
Wait,
You know
how
what?
about this? How about we get Raymond to cover the Jewish basketball league, and then we bring a Jewish guy to cover the HBCU?
There you go.
that's
Cultural
what I was
exchange.
thinking. Literally, I was
Cultural
like, how about we
exchange.
do Raymond covers Jewish stuff and Cinco can cover.
Cinco covers the HBCU.
Yeah,
All right, I'm texting right now. Hey, quit your high paying job. I got a job offer for you. It pays $0 an hour.
yeah. You want to make $0 this next year?
I'll uh I'll gamble on Prairie View A&M.
I respect
Oh,
that. I do respect that. All right. Next, the important games are going to be Illinois playoffs. These are all FCS playoffs. We had the second round of the FCS playoffs last week. The first game we're going to talk about Illinois State versus UC Davis. It's very important to bring this up. Illinois State last week did the unthinkable, down 14 points with 4 minutes left. They beat number one seeded powerhouse, the what North Dakota State is to FCS. You can't compare it to another team in the FBS because their run is way is so much more. dominating than anything any team in the FBS has ever done. The
Like the last like Nick Saban's run with Alabama, you know, excluding the last he hasn't been here for 2 years now, and maybe like that last year. Nick Saban's run with Alabama doesn't do it justice because every now and then another team would pop in and be
Not
like,
even
"Oh,
just every
got you."
now and then. Nick Saban's teams would win once on average for a 10-year span. They won half of them. North Dakota State's won like 90 or all but three in a 12-year span, I think. And so the closest we've ever had to this off top, off the dome, is the Bud Wilkinson Oklahoma days in the 50s.
Damn.
And so and here's the other crazy part about North Dakota State. They've had four head coaches in that span. So it is not a team that's sitting there like, oh, this coach is really good, so we won. No, this team is winning because of the culture and I just yeah, the tradition of a program is what's powering them through and continuing success.
Yeah.
Now, granted, they lost yesterday, or not last yesterday, last week, and no one saw it coming.
Against they lost to who?
Who? They lost to Illinois State, who is a really good team.
Oh,
They're
I see.
part of the Missouri Valley Football Conference, which is the SEC of the FCS. Um, Illinois State had they played Oklahoma. They played a few teams, and I always thought that they were a decent team. I thought that they can make a playoff run. Um, but in a conference that hosts all of the Dakota schools, South Dakota, North Dakota, South Dakota State, and North Dakota State, all of those schools, which all made the playoffs this year. Um, you have a team in Illinois State that who also made the playoffs that somehow won. I think they're the fifth seed in their or fourth seed in their conference, or the fourth team in their conference, and they ended up beating the number one team in the country. So they are playing UC Davis. UC Davis is kind of a nerd school. They go off of a quarters program. So crazy enough, they're ending their quarter right now with finals, and all their players who have to play in this game this week um, have to also take their finals on Friday. So
UC Davis also did just win against Rhode Island. It's an
yes,
11 win team.
they
So
did beat Rhode Island.
we're not dealing with a Rice situation.
Yeah. So that being said, I'm going to take Illinois State. I think defense is going to win this thing. UC Davis, I think, has a good running game. I haven't watched much of UC Davis this year. I think I watched like a
No, you're
quarter
not
of
a
them.
not a big UC Davis film watcher.
No, I watched. I literally did watch them for a quarter, and then I think another game came on, so I watched that instead. But yeah, I'm going to take Illinois State.
I agree, only because they played Oklahoma and it makes Oklahoma look better the further they go.
I think you really sold me on the finals argument. Having just finished finals, I think it's going to be a real mental battle. I'm going to go Illinois State as well.
And you got to remember, this is FCS football. These kids are actually going to school.
Yeah, yeah.
The
They have
next
they have
one,
to see the advisor on Monday.
which yeah, this next one actually takes place tomorrow, Friday night. It's probably the FCS game of the week, besides the Celebration Bowl, of course. But when you talk FCS playoffs, it's probably the game of the week, and that is going to be them or Montana State. This game or the Villanova Tarleton game, but we didn't pick that game. This game is Montana State versus Stephen F. Austin. Stephen F. Austin won the Southland not Southland. Yeah, no, Southland Conference. They were a dominant defensive team. The Southland Conference ended up being probably one of the top four conferences in FCS this year, as far as competition wise. They had three really good teams, four if you count UTRGV. UTRGV is pretty close to making the playoffs this year. They just lost everybody. Not to get on a UTRGV rant, but UTRGV lost their number one, two, and four receiver from the team, and their starting tight end, and their starting quarterback, and they lost their starting running back. Yeah. So I'm gonna cry. That
Yep.
being said,
Love
Graduate
it.
or did they go transfer portal?
transfer portal.
You know they went transfer portal.
Where's Marburger going?
Marburger's graduated,
Okay. Well, you
but
said number one, you said QB, so
yeah, he's graduated. Then
okay.
their number one receiver, Tony Diaz, who's a redshirt freshman, who led the Southland Conference in receiving yards this year, decided that I'm going to go play bigger ball, which is I saw that coming. And then their number two receiver, Xavier Nolan, um, who is a redshirt sophomore, also said I'm going to go play bigger ball, but I did not see that one coming. And then there's
Following following Marburger at quarterback, they have four freshmen.
yeah, they are a this is their second year as a pro. This is their first full season as a program. So they are the youngest team in Division One college football, and they had a 9-win season. It's kind of incredible what they did, but they're gonna have to hit the transfer portal hard. That being said, Montana State, Stephen F. Austin. The easy pick is Montana State. It's going to be a good game, better than people would say. Montana State and Montana were the number two and number three team in the country. The battle or brawl in the wild is their rivalry. It's probably Montana State versus Montana is probably the best FCS rivalry in football. Like, I guess the best rivalry in FCS. Um, those games are crazy. Those games are awesome. They're loud. Those stadiums are big stadiums for FCS stadiums, so those crowds get really rowdy. And it's a good old fashioned. They hate each other. Cross state rivalry. And Stephen F. Austin again, good defense, pretty decent quarterback play, not great quarterback play. Um, so I Montana State again. It's my pick, but I do think it'll be a good game. Definitely a game. Everyone, if you don't find yourself not having football to watch this weekend, Montana State, Stephen F. Austin is the game that I would recommend you watch.
I
Devin?
almost let my Texas pride win again. But yeah, and Montana State is the smart pick.
Yeah, I don't know who won the Brawl in the Wild this year. I watched it until I fell asleep one. I had to rewatch it. I'm
I mean,
gonna
it does. I don't think it matters who won it. It's the difference between two and three at this point, right?
well, really, those two teams. Um, Montana State beat Montana 31-28 um, on November. Yeah, so Montana State with North Dakota State being out, Montana State is the number one team in the country.
Yeah, hard to pick against that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That being said, was a close game, the Montana State Montana game. So Montana's not far behind.
You know, Devin, I'm proud of you. Or I will let state pride get in the way. I'm gonna go Stephen F. Austin.
Raymond's crazy pick of the week that somehow works out for him.
It
Crazy.
pure vibes. I got to climb into these records somehow. I got a lot of ground to make up. We picked pretty much identical all week.
Bro, listen, I don't know how to tell you this, but every time you catch up on, or the higher it goes, the higher the standard is.
I know.
All right, that wraps up the picks for this week. All right, so we can go ahead and get into the play. I want to end this on a positive note, actually. So we're going to talk about the coaching changes first, a little bit of transfer portal stuff. Then we'll talk about the playoff bracket because that's a little more upbeat. Clearly, the big thing to talk about. We went over some coaching changes last time. I think one coaching change that's happened before we jump into the juiciest one is Brian Hartline was hired at USF to replace Alex Golish, who's moving on to Auburn. Um,
Okay.
so that's a good pickup for USF. Brian Hartline is by far the best receiver coach in college football. If you want to go to the NFL and you're a receiver, you want to play for Brian Hartline. Brian Hartline should be the offensive coordinator, head coach, and wide receiver coach for this team. If he doesn't do that, it would be a damn shame for this football team to have that set up because Brian Hartline is the best receiver coach in college football. Um, the only other coaching change that I can remember are some coordinators. Kendall Briles is moving to South Carolina. Um,
Matt Campbell to Penn State.
who?
Matt Campbell to Penn State.
Matt Campbell to Penn State. Yes, so head coaching. My bad. Matt Campbell to Penn State. That is a good hire for Penn State. What you get in Matt Campbell is a guy that's going to stick around. He's not going to move on to a better job because he could have if he wanted to. And there's not many better jobs in Penn State. Another thing you get with Matt Campbell is you got tough, gritty football he's never had. Here's the other thing about Iowa State that people don't remember. Iowa State is respectable today in today's college football. When Matt Campbell took over that Iowa State program, that was not a respectable program.
No, that was a blowover team.
That was a what Indiana used to be. That was
Yeah.
what you would look when you hear about Iowa State, you think about what you would traditionally feel about a Vanderbilt, what you would traditionally feel about a Purdue or a Wake Forest football team. They're not good, and you probably don't respect them. And Iowa State is now respectable because of Matt Campbell. So if he could do that at a program that was what Iowa State was, what he could do at Penn State, I think, is going to be incredible. Great hire. Um,
Kind of
hopefully,
late on the recruiting class, though.
what?
Kind of late on the recruiting class
Yeah,
still.
he's going to
Worst
have a
P4 recruiting class ever at
yeah
the
he's
early
going to
signing period.
yeah he's going to have a very tough go his first couple of years because he's got a this recruiting class is going to hurt him, and he's going to have to dive into the transfer portal like no clothes on, full body, diving in there, or baby oiled up like it's a Diddy
Scrooge
party.
McDuck style.
Huh?
It's Scrooge McDuck style.
Yeah.
Scrooge McDuck diving in. Yeah. Have we already talked about both Tulane and James Madison losing their coaches?
Yeah, so that's going to be a segue because again, I don't want to end this on a positive note. We're not going to segue there yet, but we will
Oh,
talk about
okay. All right.
it. A few other things. Yeah, like I said, some coordinator hires. The head coach of Sacramento State, who I had highlighted earlier in the season as the author of the Go-Go offense, and he is going to be the offensive coordinator at Colorado. Yeah, so Deion Sanders making some moves. Another one, big one.
I honestly don't like that for him. And it's not because I like it's not it's just like I thought he would have gone somewhere else to like as a head coach and really like shine or something.
This guy is very notorious for just being at a program for a year or two and then leaving. So it didn't shock me. It's like his MO is to just jump around. Um, Tennessee hired Penn State's defensive coordinator. That's a cool thing.
That's
Oh, Penn State's been falling apart.
And Penn State's,
well, that's right, because Matt Campbell said he wasn't going to retain him.
yeah, Penn State's defensive
But
coordinator was Ohio State's defensive coordinator last year.
yep, and everyone thought he was going to go to Oklahoma,
Hmm.
and then he ended up going to Penn State,
Hmm.
and now Oklahoma's like, we don't need you, motherfucker.
We have maybe one of the greatest defensive coordinators in the history of college football, who is Brent Venables, as our head coach. I don't think we need to hire anybody.
Well, Brent Venables decided to go back to calling plays, and well, it fucking worked out. So yeah, bye guy, don't need it.
Yeah. Um, Now we'll get to the juicy topic. Sharon Moore, the head coach formerly of Michigan, was fired
First
for
off,
cause.
before we get into this, Raymond, how much do you know about the Michigan's head coaching situation over the last couple days?
It was on every TV in the student union
Okay,
today. So
okay,
Okay,
he's aware.
so
I wish I didn't know because I would love to find out for the first time right here. But unfortunately, yeah, I do know.
yeah, it's kind of hard to avoid if you watch any sort of TV. Um, he was fired for cause from the University of Michigan, which is important because that means they don't have to pay him a buyout. That being said, fired
But
for
what
cause from
could
the
possibly have been the cause?
yeah. He was having an illicit relationship with his assistant, who I'm not unsure if this is verified, and this is all what's moving forward is going to all be alleged.
Safe. That's a good word.
Everything that I'm going to say happened allegedly, but according to
Fair with the staffer definitely happened.
allegedly, definitely happened.
No, it is
Definitely,
it's
allegedly.
confirmed at this point.
Okay, so apparently, according to multiple reporters that I read on X or Twitter or whatever it's called, he also impregnated this said staffer, forced her to get an abortion, which is very sad that he would do that. And then this did happen. He was arrested yesterday, so this isn't alleged. And the alleged reason for arresting was he broke and entered into a home of an unnamed person. I think we can imagine who this is. So breaking and entering, and then
Oh no, this is it specifically says his executive assistant.
so then her home broke and entered into her house, and I guess threatened to kill himself.
Damn.
Yeah, so a very sad story that's going on there with Sharon Moore. Um,
Here's what I've seen on it so far.
hmm,
Allegedly, he has this affair with her, and then they actually looked into this earlier in the season, and both of them were like, "No, absolutely not. There's nothing going on." And then within the last couple of days, she flipped.
yes,
What could have caused her to flip? As Peyton said, an unwanted pregnancy, where he was like, "You're going to do this." It happens. Something happens. She flips. It's like, no, it actually was happening the entire time. Here's a blah blah blah, and then he ends up. Apparently, he's been having really bad mental health issues, which I wonder why. Snow bunnies. And he broke into Snow Bunny's house, and yeah, now he's in jail.
another
Oh,
spin on that, which I have seen, is that
oh,
they looked into it. They did look into it. They found cause, and then they said, you know what? If the season doesn't go how we want this season to go, we'll just put this in our back pocket. And
I
the
don't feel
season
like the
didn't.
season was that bad for him, though.
They
I also
lost to Ohio State. Michigan cares about losing to Ohio
I'm
State.
also seeing here that he fired her, so that could have kicked all this off too.
Yes.
Mm,
And before the season, she also got a 500% pay raise. So,
55%.
oh, I'm sorry, 55% pay raise, which is,
90 grand last year.
yeah, that's insane. Okay. So, we're not going to speculate
Yeah,
any further
I will
on
hold
what
my
happened.
tongue.
That being said, it is sad. Um, you probably shouldn't cheat on your wife. That's a very
Number one.
easy thing to say.
That's a
Money
layup.
changes people, though, so you never know. Sometimes
Also a
people do
layup.
things. And also, on top of that, it's not like the person that mentored him in college football was running the most upstanding organization you've ever seen. I'm sure that plenty and plenty of this has been going on within the Michigan program for a while. It is now just rearing its ugly head.
Has
Uh,
there been a statement by him, by the way?
Jim Harbaugh,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. Don't care
he
to.
was
Probably
smart. He
won't
keep his
ever.
fucking mouth shut. But
Yeah.
I
Also,
think I saw something that was like seven people that were involved with coaching at Michigan since Jim Harbaugh was there are no longer allowed to coach at the NCAA level or have been fired for cheating or been fined for cheating. And four, okay, it's four that are no longer, yeah, that's it. Four are no longer allowed to be involved in NCAA athletics. And there's seven overall that have faced like fines or been in trouble,
yeah.
or seven
Um,
more.
I'm almost positive Jim Harbaugh is not allowed to coach at the NCAA level.
Jim Harbaugh or
Yeah.
John? Oh, Jim Harbaugh is, yeah, and then John is at Baltimore. And okay, sorry.
So clearly, this
Yeah.
program was not being run very clean for a while now. Yeah, it's a sad story. But yeah, stay away from snow bunnies, I think, is the
Thank God I
moral.
live in San Antonio because the thick Latinas are here, brother. Amen.
Jesus. All right. So
I abstain from
Peyton's
comment.
camera's glitching out for me and it's throwing me the fuck off.
yeah, I'm just gonna be doing that. All right. So the next order of business, the final order of business, is the playoffs, the bracket specifically. So we'll run through this. I'm gonna go top or bottom to top. Actually, no, top to bottom because the bottom is the more controversial. So we'll go top to bottom. At number one, we have Indiana. That makes sense. Here's the controversy here that I don't like, but it is controversy, so I'm going to say it. At number two, we have Ohio State, which doesn't make sense because they lost their conference championship. So in my head, I'm putting the conference champions with one loss above. Granted, I guess the reasoning is Ohio State has the best loss in the country.
Exactly.
So I guess I get that.
Or, I can see the future getting to a later part of where we talk about the playoff. A 3-point loss in a conference championship between number one, number two, flip spots. I'm totally fine with that.
I
I
can.
get that.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that. Number three is Georgia, and it should be. Georgia has shown to
They had
be
a
a
big
very
win.
dominant team. The only team they didn't dominate was Ole Miss and Tennessee. So, and
And
Alabama
Alabama one time.
one time, but then they made up for it, and then some.
They definitely made up for it.
Yeah. So then you move to Texas Tech, which again makes sense. Conference champion of a Power Five or Power Four conference. Really, the Big 12 is the third power conference, and on top of that, yeah, did they play a lot of really? Did they play a lot of great teams? No. Did they play a lot of good teams? Yes. The Big 12 has a lot of good teams, and they were dominant in almost every game they played, except for the game they lost where their quarterback was out.
Yep.
And to a team that has a incredible coach in Dillingham. So I completely understand why they're four. There's no other team that could be four. Number five, this is where we start getting where I'm like, okay, what's going on? Number five is Oregon. Oregon didn't really play anybody this year, aside from they didn't play Ohio State.
I mean, they're also in the same boat. Their only loss is Indiana.
Yeah, I don't know. I've watched Oregon and it just doesn't. I don't know. But Oregon
It
did.
doesn't definitely doesn't feel as good as they were last year. I think they're a really good team. I think they're a playoff team.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Um,
I just felt like they should be like seven.
I
I feel
can
like
see how
A
they
and
got
M
placed
should
there.
be. I feel like A&M should have been above Oregon, but if you're going by who you lost to, Oregon is better than A&M. But that being said, Oregon's at five, but really, there's no complaints. Like Oregon being at five doesn't bother me too much.
Honestly, 5 through 7 could have been in any order, and I don't think
Mhm.
I would have been mad about it.
100%. I agree with that. Number six is Ole Miss. Ole Miss has their problems, but I think deservingly so. Number six is Ole Miss. It's kind of exactly where I would have had them. Number seven is A&M. Again, I said I would rather have flipped A&M and Oregon, but A&M's loss is more recent and to a team not as good as Oregon's loss. So I get it.
Yeah. And also, I honestly A&M didn't really play anybody. Didn't have
Yeah.
a very tough schedule this year.
And their Texas, the game they played against Texas, they played Notre Dame. They beat Notre Dame
That's true. They did beat Notre Dame.
early in South Bend, Indiana. And the other thing with beating Notre Dame early was this part of it is Notre Dame wasn't quite Notre Dame yet. Like they were going through some trials and tribulations with their starting quarterback, who's now a stud or really good, and will continue to be really good for Notre Dame. But yeah, A&M's loss to Texas was kind of ugly, to be honest with you. It kind of they had a few things exposed, especially with their offensive play. Their defense is still really good, but their defense isn't the masterclass that it was made out to be in the beginning of the year, in my opinion. So the next number eight is Oklahoma. Um, people, there's a lot. So this is kind of where the controversy starts, right? With other people. People are saying that Oklahoma shouldn't be in because of their offense. And my answer to that is that they're 10-2 with an abysmal offense at times. Their offense can get better. I expect it to be a little better in the playoff. I feel like the 2 weeks is going to do well for them. But on top of that, their defense is just lights out.
Yes.
They will
Well, and
win
I
one game with their secondary. Their defensive line is three deep. At their number three defensive tackle, um, his last name is Strong, Marcus Strong. He would be starting at a lot of other colleges. He is the third string in a six-man rotation. He's the third guy in that rotation. At defensive end, they have again a very deep rotation. They have Danny Okoye, Taylor Wine, number 90, Jones Jr. I forget his first name, but great player. Um, then they also have PJ Adebawore, and then they have the guy they haven't had, and they've been playing this phenomenal defense. Their best player on defense, um, are Mason Thomas. So, but this is the theme with the Oklahoma team. A lot of the teams have one or two deep. Oklahoma's defense on the defensive line is three deep in a lot of spots, or every spot really. And then on the linebacker, they're two deep at linebacker. And then in the secondary, outside of free safe, strong safety, whatever position, whichever safety Peyton Bowen plays, Peyton Bowen is by far the best at his position, but his backup is Reggie Powers, who plays a ton, but they just play on the field at the same time. But the secondary, again, their corners all very young, but you have Eli Bowen. Um, I'm not going to make this an Oklahoma thing, but they're 4 deep. They're like three deep in almost every position on defense. And you put any of those guys out there, and they're going to make plays. And they've made plays with interceptions, sacks, forced fumbles, things like that. So I think their defense is outstanding. Offensively, they have playmakers. Where they hurt is the offensive line, but their offensive line is very young. And the more practice reps they get, the better they're going to get. So I only expect them to continue to get a little better as the season goes on. But yeah, so
Here's what I'll say. That defense can go toe to toe with anybody.
mhm.
That defense, the second half of the season after the Ole Miss loss, took another step up because
Yes,
that's when they started forcing turnovers.
yes.
That's the crazy thing. This defense was good before they forced turnovers. They started forcing turnovers and then they got better. And that's when they went on that dominant November run. I wouldn't call it dominant. It was close games, but they won
From
all
a
their
defensive
games.
perspective, with the help they're getting from the offense, it was very dominant.
Yeah.
It was like
If
Iowa football on steroids.
exactly. If and here's the thing with this big break, they didn't play a conference championship. They're going to get a home game and they're not going to play for over another week. So they're basically almost got 3 weeks off.
Mm-hmm.
That gives time for John Mateer's hand to get better if that's still bugging him. A lot of people are saying, like, the hand injury might still be kind of there. It's something that takes a while to recover from, even though if he's still throwing with it. The biggest thing is they have a bunch of offensive injuries, and a lot of those guys could come back.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those guys could come back. So this offense might take a step up, and they don't need a great or even a good offense to go far with this defense. They need a mid-ass offense.
They need a serviceable offense. Yes.
They need a serviceable offense. I've said, and I've been talking to people before, and I've said it multiple times. If Oklahoma wins the turnover battle by two turnovers or more, and they score at least 20 points, they can beat anybody. It doesn't matter if the defense is responsible for 14 of those points. If they score 20 and they get at least they win the turnover battle by two, they can beat anybody.
Yep.
I'm not saying that they will beat anybody, but they can do it if they do that.
I
They got
agree.
to score at least 20. They got to win the turnover battle by two, and they can beat anybody.
Raymond, any information, any input on your behalf?
Any input? I mean, no, I've just been scrolling through the bracket so far. You know, I understand how they came to every decision because I'm looking at like the losses for like where we're 1 through 8 right now, and they all make sense because Oklahoma's only losses are to people higher up on the ranking.
Well, they lost to Texas too,
Oh
but
yeah, and Texas, but Texas played spoiler all season. Ole Miss and Texas, and if we're gonna excuse the Texas loss because it's a rivalry, that was my other part. The other the other losses are it's either a rivalry or it's to somebody higher up on the list. So
I
yeah,
agree with that. That is true. That is fair. And rivalries, they should hurt you a little less and help you a little less too.
yeah, I agree with that.
While important to win.
Because even Texas A&M's only loss is to Texas, a rivalry game.
Hmm. And I agree with that. All right. Moving forward to number 9, Alabama. Um, this is like it's deserving because they played in the conference championship. They're good enough to do that. But they have the worst loss outside of any of the and if the Power Four teams playing, they probably have the worst loss of the Power Four teams in the
What,
playoff.
Florida State?
Yeah,
Here's my
Florida State.
problem with it. They road lost to Florida State. I think Florida State was better than I think Alabama was worse that game. Okay, it's an early loss. I can see it, but it's and the playoff committee was like, oh well, BYU blah 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 didn't look great, or they beat up, or no, it was Vandy. Like Vandy beats up this Tennessee team, and they did this and this that, but it wasn't really worth moving up. But Alabama struggles against Auburn. So in case you don't know Auburn is Auburn, and they're not good this year. They struggle against Auburn. Like, oh well, and you
What
can't
is
say the rivalry game makes the difference because they're both rivalry games. Vandy has, don't think, ever beat Tennessee at Tennessee, and they've whomped on them.
Yeah.
So you don't
Um,
punish Alabama for that. They go to the conference championship and they get whomped. They get beat the hell out of them. And normally I don't want to punish a team for going to a conference championship, but for a team that is barely in or on the outside looking in, I don't find that excusable for a team that loses by 21 points, gets a late touchdown to make it closer than it ever actually was. -3 rushing yards. They had -3 rushing yards. That team hasn't been good since mid-October. They haven't been good.
their defense
Leave them
has been
out.
good though. So like this is the same concept, right? Their defense has been good. Their defense isn't as good as like an Oklahoma or an Ohio State or even a Texas Tech defense, but their defense has been good. But having
If the
said,
defense is the only thing keeping them alive, and we know Georgia can beat that defense, then we already know the answer to the playoff. Maybe they might get their comeback or their revenge game against Oklahoma. It might happen.
yeah,
But what happens when they go further in and they play an actual offense?
yeah, they'll play Indiana next, and then after that, who knows? So I mean, I don't know. I can see why Alabama's in, but I can also see the argument for why they're out.
Here's the problem with putting them in. People have argued about you put Miami in, who Miami should have been in. Leaving out Notre Dame, who has 2 losses on the year by a total of 4 points to
Super.
two other playoff teams when they were playing their worst football is atrocious.
Yeah,
That is so stupid. That is so ridiculous. There's no way you could rationalize that.
and you're talking about a Pitt team that I believe beat Miami. Let me double check this.
Well, yeah, and I mean you can do the same math for Vandy too. Vandy's losses are to a team in the playoff in Texas, and if we're going to excuse a loss to Texas like we're doing with A&M, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I just, I just, I'm not even worried about the 3 loss thing. The third loss came in the conference championship.
Actually, I lied.
It is the,
No, you're talking about a P team that
it,
got a Pitt team that absolutely got destroyed by Miami. So yeah, I don't know. I don't want to spend too much time on and too much more time on Alabama because I have other things to do. Sorry, guys. I could talk about this for an hour and a half. Maybe we'll talk about the playoff bracket a little bit more next week as well, especially these matchups in these games. But the big thing, right? Next, we're moving on to Miami. Miami is in because they beat Notre Dame. They had some dumb losses on their schedule, obviously, but if Miami puts it together, Miami's a really good team. And we hope, and they dominated Pitt the last game of the season. I remember that now. Um, and they're coming into the playoff off a really good win over a ranked opponent. Hopefully strong, and they're going to go play. They're the number 10 team going to go play the number 7 team. And that, I mean, whoever has to play Miami, look out. Any of these teams in the top 10, if you got to play them, look out. And this is where we're going to move into the controversy. Um, Here's what I'll say, in my opinion, before we move into the controversy. With how you pick the playoffs, how the playoffs have to be picked according to the rules, the only team that you can argue for being out is Alabama. And then between Alabama, it becomes a toss up between Notre Dame and Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt has a weaker case because Vanderbilt lost to Alabama. So if you're going to take Alabama out, really the only option was to put Notre Dame in. I would have been okay with that, but it didn't happen. So here we are. I will say Alabama has better wins than Notre Dame does. So Alabama's wins are better than Notre Dame's wins. So that's helping them out. Their losses are worse, but well, one of their losses is worse, but their wins are
Tell you
better.
what is better, their TV viewership.
Yeah, and their TV view. Well, Notre Dame has really good TV viewership too. You're talking about one of like the top 5 college football fan bases and yeah, in the country. That being said, every Catholic in the United States watches Notre Dame football games. God-fearing Catholic, I should say. Yeah, so the controversy moves into why 2 group of 5 teams got in. And there's obviously it has to be the 5 highest ranked conference champions. I don't think that's how it should be. I think it should be the 4 highest ranked conference champions, and then you have a bunch of at-larges. Group of 5 teams don't have to be into this. They set it up so they would be in it because that was the problem with the previous playoff platform, and maybe you have to expand it a little bit to make sure they stay involved. But the reality of the situation is neither of these teams are going to win their matchups, and they're probably going to get blown out.
It was always the way it was set up originally was the compromise to keep the G5 happy. You got to remember first when they first because it was 4 teams. No one ever wanted to put in the G5. UCF has an undefeated season. They beat a good Auburn team and they put up a national championship banner because they got excluded. Next year they put in Cincinnati. Cincinnati actually played a decent game against Alabama, but they lose. It never happens again. When they expanded, originally it was going to be the conference champion for every Power Five team or Power Five conference, and then one G5 conference champion would make it in.
And then the power.
And then the Pac-12 fell apart. And so they're like, cool, fuck it. We'll just do the top 5 conference champions. There's our 4, and then we get the G5 guy, and that's an extra at-large spot that we don't have to waste on somebody that we don't like.
Mhm.
And then the ACC completely fucked that up in the conference championships.
By being
By the way,
absolutely
Virginia,
terrible.
no bitches team of the week. I will say it right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. I actually was earlier gonna say I think we have a no bitches team of the week.
No,
Um,
we don't because half the teams have lost their coaches.
yeah, this
Anybody and every college
Virginia,
football's in
no bitches
shambles right
team of
now.
the week.
Yeah, no,
Win and you're in. Your conference fucked up the way that it chooses conference matchup. So it was like, cool, you get to play this team that isn't even ranked 7-5. Don't even got to worry about them, and you lost. And you lost.
that's the
that
craziest banner
that
that's
is
gonna be hung in that stadium at Duke is 7 or 8 and 5 conference champion Duke.
No, the best part is when they lose their bowl game and they go 8-6, 8-6 ACC champion.
Yeah. So that being said, yeah, the ACC is on the verge of Pac-12ing it. They're gonna collapse. I feel like the ACC is bound to collapse. We're talking about an ACC that was 4 years ago the third most stable conference in
Oh yeah.
college
Yeah.
football.
Shout out, I can't remember his name right now, but the Pac-12 or the Big 12 commissioner, that dude was on top of getting that shit solid.
Yeah,
He did a great job.
yeah,
With Clemson and FSU falling off so hard, I think the ACC is stable, but they're going to be stable and shittery.
yeah. Well, you still have Miami, and yeah, but yeah, I completely agree. If the program started pulling the weight that they were supposed to pull, a Clemson, a Florida State, pulling their weight along with Miami, and then maybe you have your one random Louisville, your one random SMU, your one random, and your ones and two random teams that are really good every year. This conference would be a lot better than it is. It's just the fact that Clemson and FSU have said we're good. We're not going to pull our weight. We don't. Who needs that?
Yeah.
You know?
Why prove ourselves that we should be in a better conference when we can just not do it at
Yeah,
all?
exactly.
Take me,
Um,
please.
so I think as far as the group of five teams or group of six teams that got in between the between Tulane and JMU, they're ranked appropriately or seated appropriately, I should say. JMU is in the Sun Belt. The Sun Belt is slightly better than Conference USA. Um, as far as like your average team, they do have teams that randomly just are good. Like Texas State was pretty solid this year, just didn't have defense. JMU is probably the only team in that conference that is a full blown competitor on both sides of the ball. Everyone else has a lot of flaws. JMU wins and they get into the college football playoff. It's exciting for a team like JMU, who was an FCS team 5 years ago. Then Tulane, who is the best team in Louisiana. That's a weird thing to say.
Not in my
I don't
online
know.
dynasty.
Um,
Oh yeah.
Also, Tulane, underrated uniform combinations. But it is exciting to see Tulane, which is, was kind of an old time, old school SEC team. They left the SEC, which they have regretted ever since. And now they're maybe making a case for the SEC to call them back when they move to a 2014 conference. Um, and I mean, Tulane's a good team. They do have flaws, as a lot of Group of Five teams do, very apparent flaws. But as far as a team that is competitive, they are. They've already played Ole Miss once, and maybe their coach, who is now the head coach at Florida, um, who's coaching them through this playoff, maybe he
They're
can
letting
draw
do
some
that.
things for this team to dominate. Okay, that was the bracket.
Do they,
Anyone have anything to say?
they're letting transferred coaches coach to the playoff.
You can, yeah, yeah. It's up to the
Yeah, yeah.
school.
A lot of teams will let you do that as long as you're not a massive jackass like Lane Kiffin.
Yeah,
Oh, fair enough.
yeah. Most
Drag
teams
your nuts
actually,
across the table for 4 weeks, then go and then leave
yeah, most
your
teams
playoff
actually are
team.
like, please stay and coach our team to maintain continuity and give this team a chance to win. It's just if you're a metric piece of shit who also was sleeping with students around campus allegedly, then yeah, they don't like you. And that being said, that's the episode. Yeah. Do we have anything else to add?
I think. I mean, I know it's not gonna happen, but I think it would be good if either Tulane or JMU won one of their games.
That would be so electric.
I
It could only be
it's
good
funny
for.
because I don't hate Ole Miss anymore. As soon as Lane Kiffin left, my hate for Ole Miss was just evaporated. Like I was freed from a sin. But Tulane making a massive comeback to beat Ole Miss after they got mopped by them earlier this season would be pretty cool.
Yep.
JMU would beating Oregon would be honestly the best one. That would be fucking hilarious.
JMU being Oregon is never gonna happen.
No.
But
Oregon either plays really, really close games against good teams, or if a team is a step below them, they beat the shit out of them.
yeah,
It's the only way they play football.
Tulane is the only possibility, and I don't see it happening. But if they could do it, it would turn the college football playoff on its head. They don't
yeah.
have to win out; they just have to win one game.
I will say
Texas
this. This
Tech
is
would
one thing I
be
do want to end.
so excited.
Go ahead.
Texas Tech would be so excited if JMU won. But go for it.
Um, One thing I do would say is because a lot of people were talking, like, a lot of controversy with this playoff run, And a lot of people were sitting there and going, man, I've just gained another level. We're going, well, this is what happens, blah, 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 because you expanded the playoff. We should go back to 4 teams. Forgetting that the eighth seed won it last year in dominant fashion. I just want to let everybody know if you thought the playoffs should shrink again, that's the worst possible take.
Yeah.
That's the worst possible take.
I think 12 teams is good. I think the best format would be like a 14 or 16 team format, but that's neither here nor there because guess what? As much as these matchups are exhilarating to think about, we're going to talk about them next week. So tune in for that. Anyway, this has been Tailgate Sports Media Podcast. I'm Peyton. That's Devin. That's Ray. Ray's going to join us again next week.
Why not?
I already
Raymond's like,
got,
well, I had plans, but fuck me, I
I
guess.
locked them in, so I did that for a reason. That's called marketing 101. I'm just joking. That's not marketing at all. Anyway,
Turns out I have a scheduling invite.
and anyway, so that means, yeah, we're gonna talk about all this stuff next week. We're gonna go over everything, and there will probably be some crazy things that happen. We didn't cover everything we wanted to cover today, but I am on a time crunch because I'm a tired boy. Um, and so yeah, thank you guys for watching. This was episode 17. Please do all the things, subscribe and all that. And I'm Peyton. That's Devin. That's Ray.